Yeah, g'day Australia. Tim here again for Beef It Up Australia and Let's Get Rural. We're in the beautiful little town of Ensay in the Gippsland area. As you go over the anthill, Mount Hotham as we call it, and we're at the Little River Inn in Ensay. Talking to Scary, otherwise known as Carey. How are you?
I'm good.
How long have you been here in Ensay?
I've come up here on and off for probably, well, as long as Stretchy's run the pub for, or had the pub for, which is roughly 33 years.
On and off?
On and off, because we'd come up here and party on the weekends and she'd sucker us into working for her.
So where are you from?
Bairnsdale.
Bairnsdale. So
Yeah.
What is that, a hop, skip and a jump?
Yeah, hour.
Yeah? How did you get the name of Scary?
Stretch. She used to call me a long-haired, short-legged CC bandit because I drink whiskey.
So what actually made you come along to Ensay to party besides Stretch?
Well, we grew up together, Stretch and I. There was quite a few of us who all grew up together, you know, teenage years and whatnot. And then because Stretchy went into working up here, come up here and worked, and then eventually bought the pub, well, we had to still come up and see her, didn't we?
Well, you got it.
Yeah. So it just made sense. We'd nick off for a weekend, come up here, and she'd say to us, oh, love, while you're here, you know, do you want to paint the pub? Or do you want to do dishes because we've got 100 people in tonight? Or, you know, help out in the bar or whatever, and we just all do it.
You know much of the history of the pub?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it. It's nearly 100 years old. It'll be 100 in 2023. Yeah, it wasn't originally here on this side. It was actually around the corner.
Really?
Yeah.
So they moved it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of horse and cart and logs.
And it is, isn't it? Yeah. So, but it's been, I think, at this site for nearly the 100 years. So,
right.
What, 2 more years and we'll have, Stretch might have a big party. Who knows?
And you'll come up and work.
No, I live here now. I married a farmer.
Oh, right.
Yes, in 2008.
You didn't go on that TV show, did you?
Oh, hell no. So, nah. I come to the pub and met him. It's as simple as that.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've been with Bill for 22, 23 years.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And then Stretchy left us, of course, and went off to do other things, leased the pub out. She did that for 11 years.
I don't know.
It was 11 years. And the last lot of people that we had in here actually left on bad terms, so I won't say their names, but they gutted the pub before they left. And so that's when I came back on board here with Stretchy, because she came back in. So then I came back here and worked for her for a couple of years while we got it all up and running again. So cleaning it, the whole kitchen had to be redone. There was no stoves, no fryers, there was nothing. This place, as you see it now, didn't exist. It was empty.
So you went around all the houses in the area?
Stole a heap of stuff and brought it in.
Their stoves, their dining tables, their chairs, their TVs, even their pictures.
Yeah.
So how did you get away with it?
They love us. It was easy. We just said, hey, can we have some tables and chairs and stuff? And they were like, you're opening the pub? And we were like, yeah. And they were like, have it?
Yeah, we don't know.
We'll
come up here to eat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that was that, really.
So did you ever get involved in any of the sporting things here at Ensay?
When I came back up here, there really wasn't any. They used to have an Ensay New Year Sports Day over at the Oval, which, again, it was going, I think, for the first few years that I met Phil, and then it all went downhill. The footy finished, I don't know how many years ago, long time. So footy's never been here. They used to do some other, everything just sort of died off, and because no one was prepared to take it over and keep it running, everything just sort of went by the wayside.
And as people grow up, they move away to things like university and things like that.
Or out of the area to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got all the young ones coming through as well.
Well, now we've got more young ones coming through now than what we did before.
So where do they all go to school?
Swiss Creek and Omeo. Or they could travel to Bairnsdale if they want, or some, back in the day, a lot of people here went to boarding school, got sent away and went to boarding school.
I was going to say, it's a long bike ride. Especially if you're a 7-year-old kid
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God there's buses.
So, yeah, oh, there is now, but yeah, back then they would have horse and cart.
There was a school here in Ensay, but it's been defunct.
Yeah, it's now part of private house and yard now.
Yeah. But I don't know how long ago that closed down. Jean would be more of a help on
Well,
how
I'll
long
talk
ago.
to Jean very shortly.
Yeah.
She's really eager to get.
Oh, she loves it.
Then I heard a little story that you call her Jabbermouth.
No, that was I call her a lot of things. That's just one of them.
No, as long as it's polite.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't call her anything bad. No way.
I don't know. So how many of these photos in here are yours?
None. I know.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not an artist.
Well, you don't have to paint a picture. You just got to take one.
Yeah, that's true, but no, none. We have had our picture in the bar because we farm up here and
You're drunk?
no, calf sales. You always get your picture in the paper at calf sales. Yeah. And we topped the sale a few times, so that was really nice. So yeah, there was a few times our picture was up in there, mainly because I cut it out and put it on the wall.
Nothing like self-appreciation, is
Exactly. Look what we done.
That's not bad, topping the calf sales with 2.
Yeah.
It's good thing you got to have a sense of humour, don't you?
You do, exactly. Otherwise you go crazy.
Oh, definitely. So who do you follow in the footy?
I don't follow anyone, but hubby's like Richmond through and through.
No, it's not too bad.
Don't talk to him while the footy's on. Focus.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what that stands for. I'll get shot. So the young lady behind the camera, Anita, she focus on Carlton.
Yeah. So is the brother-in-law. You lost last week. You went down. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go down again this week too.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, no, they're playing my team, Collingwood.
Oh, Stretch would love you. She's one-eyed Collingwood.
Oh, fantastic. I wasn't told that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd have a ball.
Yeah. You would.
So, over all the years that you've been here in Ensay,
Mm-hmm.
and before you came to Ensay, what's some of the good memories you've had of coming here?
Okay. Probably the people. A lot of the people. Yeah. You. It's easy to make friends in the country, especially if you go to the pub. Everyone's going to talk to you, especially if you're running to me, because I talk a lot. I do a very good job of it. But country people will. They'll just say, "Oh, where are you from? What do you do?" Or come do this. We have a Ensay fun day in October and a car boot sale, which everyone gets involved in.
One more thing I need to ask you. That's probably the hardest question you've ever been asked in your life.
Right?
What does community mean to you?
A lot. If you haven't got community, you have nothing. And you have to have a main place for people to meet. There's got to be that one spot everyone can go and talk to everyone else.
So where's that?
Here. This is about all we have left here.
Yeah, this seat, this spot?
All of this. Doesn't matter. If you walk in here Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, there'll always be someone that you can talk to. Always. Or grab a meal if you don't want to cook, or, take away pizza, whatever it may be. So this is the only place left in Ensay that you can meet. We have no general store. We have no server. We have a post office, but it's only open half a day, 3 hours tops. So it's not a nighttime retreat like here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come in but truly, this is the hub of Ensay. And when we were closed, it was probably 3 or 4 months while Stretchy got everything back and happening up here. And Stewie played a big part in it as well. People felt it because you didn't meet everyone somewhere and have a drink. And that's when you become closed off.
And you can't do it at your house or their place or anything else like that.
No, well, people did in little, because you've got your cliquey little groups as well. So there might only be 5 there and 5 over there, or whereas you can come in here and there's everybody.
Just one family.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, it's just one family.
Yeah. So without this place, Ensay would be buggered, I reckon. Absolutely.
I reckon it would. Yeah, and the same as a lot of small communities like Ensay. It is a main hub.
Yes.
It's the only place people actually got to go to catch up with mates, have a talk, cry on the shoulder, laugh on a joke.
Yeah.
And a catch up.
Yeah. All the locals come in, so you've got your, nana carts, cattle and bulls and whatever else you want. So instead of ringing them, I'll go in. He'll be at the pub tonight. I'll go and have a chat to him there.
Yeah.
And then it's just that place where you can meet everyone you want to talk to, or
you just walk in and say, "G'day, mate. I'd like to buy a bull for milking."
Exactly. And good luck with that.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful, scary. Hey, good to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
It was a beautiful chat.
Yeah, it's nice. Like I say, I talk a bit.
Well, you're going to get a nice refreshment. Now I'm going to go and get a beer.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for the chat.
Not a problem at all.
Bring it up.
Tim, not Jim.
G'day, everybody. Tim here again, and we're still here at the Little River Inn in Ensay, and we're talking to Jean. How are you, love?
I'm very well, thank you, Tim.
How long have you been here in Ensay?
Very long time, but I was born and raised here up at Ensay North,
Really?
which is just up that road that goes around there.
That one? That one?
That one that just goes up there.
It can be very confusing out there.
Well, this is the crossroads, of the universe, and this is Ensay North Highway up there. And I was born and raised up there about 3 k's up.
So the way this is set up with you got Nature Road here, the road right there, the road up there,
Yeah,
the road
it was
there.
different back in the day. The road used to go in front of the pub and over that bridge over there. There's now a pedestrian bridge.
How much traffic did you get across that little bridge?
There was a lot because it was a big town. Like we had schools and businesses, and like we had a store, 2 garages, 2 transport services, schools at Ensay North, Tambo Crossing, and Ensay.
Big community.
Yeah, it was. And each farm would support 2 families back when I was a kid. And we had the mill at Ensay
It's just
North.
like yesterday.
A lot of yesterdays. We had a sawmill at Ensay North, which was built on the corner of our property, and they logged mills from Nuniong, which is the mountain just up
So there's still
the end of the valley.
still part of that sawmill there?
Yes, there is a little bit there, but it's been changed a little bit now. It was closed down as a sawmill years ago when I was away at boarding school.
Do you know much of the history of Ensay and the pub?
I know a little bit. I know it was named after a town, an island on the New Hebrides off Scotland.
Wow.
What was his name?
I don't know.
Macmillan. But he came up here and he actually opened the area up. And he settled a run. He had cattle coming over from Monaro, and he settled a run at, which was Numbermundy Station, which is now Ensay Station, or was Ensay Station. And he got too busy and he brought somebody out from Scotland who was Angus MacLeod. And he looked at the place and said, "This is just like home, I'll call it Ensay." And then it was Ensay.
Wow.
And that was Ensay Station originally, which was subdivided into farming lots of about 520 acres after each wall. And it's been just absorbed in the community.
Just little bit by little bit.
Mm.
But the history hasn't disappeared though, has it?
A lot of it has, but the memories are still here. Like we've got the old Ensay Station, which is the National Archive relic thing. The National
Heritage?
People of Victoria said it was to be kept, but it's imploded on itself because they didn't sort of appreciate what it was. But it's still there, and the old house of the station is still there, although it's getting very derelict. And the helpers' houses are still there, like farm hands.
Yeah, their quarters and everything.
Yeah, like it was a house across the river. And that's how Ensay got its name, from Ensay over in Scotland.
Because I know the first survey of Ensay was 1839, and somebody took up land under John Macmillan, but it was abandoned in 1841 because they found a wider pastoral area around Gippsland and East Gippsland.
Cattle over from the Monaro, which is in New South Wales,
Yeah.
over the hills, and they housed them there But then Pendergast up in Benambra had a run, and they brought cattle over from the Monaro as well.
So brought it down here to kickstart the cattle area. And so now Ensay is more known for their cattle,
Well, when I was a young girl on the farm, there was mainly sheep.
mainly
And,
sheep.
Yeah, well, the cattle yards that are up just past here now were sheep yards.
Oh.
Mostly sheep yards, lower fences and things.
So why did it change from sheep to
Well,
cattle?
we had a disease come through here not that many years ago. Probably, I was away probably at school, and the Yonis came through, which closed the sheep industry down here virtually
Wow.
overnight. It's a wasting disease of the sheep, and
That's not good.
it was very, very bad. The farmers had a very, very bad time. They had to go and shoot their stock, and
And then they had to
there was
find,
no income for a long while.
then they had to find all the finances and everything else to kickstart again.
Well, they
with a
did have some
different-
funding from the governments, but not nearly enough, of course. And now cattle are the main income of farms.
So
The
they,
farms have developed in size over the time, like people have sold off and bought up bigger farms and what have you, which makes cattle farming more profitable. And sheep have gone by the wayside.
so the main cattle industry around here, would that be dairy, beef,
Beef.
breeding?
Beef and breeding, we have two Hereford studs in the area, and then there's the calf sales, which we've just had recently with tremendous money.
I know one of the Hereford studs around here. One's already taken because Scary married him.
No, he's not a stud.
Yes, he is.
Oh, beg your pardon. He's a stud. The farm's not. But he don't tell him that. He's a very good cattle farmer. He's topped they have topped the sales here
There's a-
repeatedly.
There's a lot of mountain cattle area here, or
No, it's more subalpine, I suppose you'd call it. It's much more easy land to farm. It's all tractable, and they grow their crops of hay and everything like that. We've got very good water, mostly, with the little river and the Tambo River going through the areas.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone works together, and it's easy.
well, that's good with community, isn't it? Because if one farm needs some help from
Yes.
a neighbour or anything
Yeah.
else like that,
Yes.
they just
Yeah.
got to get onto the dog and bone.
Yeah.
So can you hit a frog and toad up here and
Yeah.
give us a hand?
And the same versa, if someone else, like if they're in trouble, they'll
Yeah.
just go and help them or need a hand, or you never know what's going to happen with life, do you?
They going with the farmers helping each other, neighbours, and in the community and everything else as well. Some of the things over the years would have greatly impacted on the mental health of a lot of people in this community, like fires and
You're like
floods.
on a
And
carousel, you're just going round and round and round. 1956, we have a 10-year drought here, and
10 years.
everything was dust. It was absolutely shocking. There was not a blade of grass. The cattle, or the sheep it was back then, were very, very poor. And like, there was no income off farms. There was, no income for everyone, actually. It was just, I was a child and I felt so, was probably guilty because you wanted things, but you knew you couldn't get them because there was no income.
And also, as a child back then, going through those,
You saw
watching
your
your family going through
Yeah,
hardship.
you saw your father and your mother in stress. And like your neighbour, I had lovely old neighbours, and they were just like my second family. And they were under stress. There was no joy in the area.
And as a child, all you can think of is, I want to help, I want to help, I want to help. But
Yes,
you've got
but we-
no idea how to.
We were pushed out. There was no time for children. You had to make your own fun and your own amusement, and you'd help mum as best you could, by catching a fish or a rabbit or something.
Yeah, I remember that back in the early 1970s when I was a kid growing up in a small country town. You had to go out and make your own fun, and you done what you could, catch a rabbit or even a goanna or something.
Or go and pick mushrooms or blackberries or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
You didn't have the worries of what there is now of things in the world.
And then we had good rains, and I can remember the little river just down from our place that had just put a bridge across the river for stock access across, because it was in the middle of the farm. And the water was hitting that and was creating a huge wave. And it came up the hillside near the house, 15 yards. It was back then, not metres, yards, came up the hill. And it was the biggest flood, we'd ever seen in the little river.
So gone from 10 years of drought to flood.
Which happens regularly.
And it would have just wiped away all the topsoil, everything.
Well, it's just all the river crossings, on the river to stop stock getting it, were all wiped out. All the gullies were washed out. All the dams were filled up with dirt. It just goes on, and you had to start virtually from scratch. But the country is amazing here. You have dry, dead grass, and you have a sprinkle of rain, you've got green. And it is just amazing.
So how the community band together and fight through the bushfires that have come and threatened Ensay and bypassed.
We've had many fires.
2019,
2019, yeah. 21st of November, the fires began. And where did they start? Locally. But in no time at all, we had fires all around us. There were fires, we'll just stick to this area because they were right up the south coast.
This is in a small valley, isn't it?
Yes, in the Tambo Valley. Tambo Crossing was very severely burnt, which is a little spot on the way to Benstar. And Reedy Flat would have been burnt off the map, bar for our farmers and local boys who had family from away and other friends sitting out in the paddock with their slip-ons and the fire brigade truck out there to help replenish their water.
Hang on, slip-ons.
They're a tank that you fit into the back of a ute
Oh,
or
okay.
a trailer,
Right.
and it's full of water and fire retardant. And they were waiting for the fire to come down out of Mount Wong or something into the farming land of Reedy Flat. And without them, I think the whole of Ensay would have burnt because they got onto it straight away. And quite a while that fire burnt in the bush out there, but the farmers maintained it. There's just checking on it all the time.
Yep.
There were fires all around us. We could look out and see plumes of smoke in every which way.
So how did the families and the kids and
A lot of them were sent away. A lot of them were sent away to relatives in Benstar or further afield, wherever they had someone that was safe.
Yep.
It just got worse and worse and worse, and it burnt and burnt and burnt. And we had smoke so thick you couldn't see, and ashes dropping, and distress the whole time. No communication, no phone, no TV. We only had a radio or the CFA.
So you can still get the updates and
Scarcely.
plans
Scarcely.
and things.
Omeo had a refuge centre, but we felt it was unsafe to get on the roads and travel up there with the thick smoke and all the emergency vehicles on the roads.
Definitely understandable.
Yeah. So a lot of the people moved away, went to Bensala Lakes, and the children went away. And the only other place we had was to go to, and I went down there to the CFA, and we were quite welcome to go there, but we cooked scones and made sure that the fireys who came in for a rest or a report session or what have you, they were fed. And at night you could just see the glow all around, and the angoras were on fire. It was so scary, it was so horrible. But the CFA guys, our local guys, were just amazing. But we had help from all over Victoria and probably New South, it wouldn't have been New South Wales, but from further away in Victoria who came and helped. But it was just so stressful. We were lucky. I think we lost one house and maybe a couple of sheds. but no one was seriously injured.
The main thing is, out of any fires that's been threatening Ensay in the area, Ensay's still here. The families,
Through our wonderful farms and see if they got
it is indeed.
Yes.
And that's what community is. They
Yes.
get in, they see a problem, and they do
And they do
everything they
something
can
about it.
to get it done so that everything's
And
safe.
our fire, I guess the guy who runs it all, Jeff Adams, are we allowed to mention names? He was absolutely amazing. I don't know when he slept, but he organised. He knows the area very well and could direct people. And we had, heavy machinery as well.
Mm.
And it was just amazing. It was something worth, if you had to live through it, you had to get something out of it to make yourself stay sane. Well, it was the community that kept you going. The district nurse, the bush nurse around here is, most of those two girls come from Bensdale Lakes, and they couldn't get through because the road was closed. And so we had a local nurse who manned it for a little while. Got too stressful, but like we managed. We didn't have that great casualty thing. We had ambulances to move someone up to Omeo.
Yeah.
But it was the community that once again got you through living pretty sane.
And it's a community that stuck together.
Yeah.
They looked out for each other, they helped each other, they built each other up, and they kept each other safe.
And you couldn't imagine what it's like to have fire all around you and think it's going to just come. But one of the old farmers, I'll tell you this, told me, Jane, Ensay won't burn. I said, why's that? And they said, well, we're in a little bit of a dip here, and the fires will burn all around the hills. It'll suck up the oxygen, and Ensay won't burn. And it hasn't, ever.
That's a good concept of.
Well, I just think it's an old wives' tale myself.
But over all the years since Ensay has been here,
We've had lightning strikes. And I remember when I was a kid, the fire brigade was just a little red truck that was kept in the garage down there. And the only alarm we had was when it drove past your place on the road, tooting its horn like mad. So the boys would get out into the car, hop in and follow the fire brigade. But now we've got really amazing equipment down there.
Technology has come a long
yeah.
way, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And good communication and everything like that.
It's just like years ago, you drive down to your mate's place and you go, beep, beep, they're in the car.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the technology, you ring them up and say, go on, man.
Well, they've all got little phones and things. They know exactly where to go and what to do and everything. And it was so needed.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about community. It doesn't matter how many people are out on that fire truck, battling fire, the greater community comes in.
The 39 fires, which people know ended up on top of Mount Nunion, on that arm. We've had fires and many fires over the years that have been around. Ensay's never been burnt out, but we have suffered all the other things like smoke, no communication, stress, with fires burning all around us.
All the fallouts, basically.
And you'd almost wish the fire to go through so you get over it and start rebuilding or repairing.
So how did you get through that concerning your own mental health with, thinking, is this going to be it? Is this where the
A lot of talk to people. Everyone was suffering the same thing. And if someone was down, you'd say, all right, we're going to do something or other. It was, everyone was the same. We had really good communities back when I'm talking a little bit later than the last fires. There was a brilliant CWA group who catered for everything.
So there was, or there still is CWA here?
Yes, but it's not just an Ensay CWA, it's Omeo CWA, Omeo Valley, I think it's called, Tambo Valley CWA group. We had a lot of clubs. We had a brilliant tennis club. We had a very good football and netball team. And
I've seen a lot of the photos out there, pictures and things for.
And we had it was a terrific life, other than these horrible events that happened. But during all this, we supported each other, We'd have dances at the hall over here. In the
I
middle
heard
of
you
the-
used to, you used
on New Year's
dances
Eve
out
out
here
here,
right
there was
outside of the
a
pub.
truck with a band on it, and out there you'd
You
be
block off the
dancing
road
away.
with hay bales, from what you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. That's when the road went around there.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of changes.
And then it's gone like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy out there. You don't know which road to take to get to where you want to
You'll
be.
get to somewhere if you take one. And it is just community support. We've always had a really good community. And
And-
that's what everyone notices when they come up here is the community.
Yeah, and the way you're talking, the main thing about community is not the conversation, but the communication.
Yeah, it's a very caring communication. You've only got to say, I'm having a bit of a tough day. What do we do? And there'll be something done. You'll sit here and have a few drinks and a chat and a laugh. Or you'll go up and have a barbecue with somebody. Or, you know, there's always someone around who can understand, which is a big thing, understanding what you're going through. The Bush Nurse Centre, of course,
I've
which
seen
is an
that.
extension of the Omeo Hospital, but it is run independently. And we have a trained nurse there from Monday to Friday. It also is very aware of mental health, both the girls are, and they offer certain things there.
Yeah.
We have a monthly walk around the oval. We might do one trip around the oval, or we might do 5. But then we go back there and have a cup of tea, a morning cup of tea, and a chat.
And a biscuit and a piece of cake.
And everyone talks. And it's hard, and a lot of times it's harder for women because the men get out and help, you know, doing the farm work. Women have to stay home with the children, try and make a meal out of nothing. And it's isolating.
And then
in
the
lots of
husband would come
cases.
come home sometimes and think,
And there's
we're missing a kid.
but quite often there was a little bit of violence around here, like domestic violence, which
Yeah.
we won't go into, but that is part of the isolated life we had. We had a good community here, but isolated from everything else.
And then COVID came along and
Oh,
it made
what a
everybody
wonderful thing.
have to isolate even further and cause more
Well, I
mental
think we
health
were pretty
problems.
lucky here
and stuff.
with COVID because we have had no cases. We've got lovely areas to walk around and just be out and enjoy nature and the community. We haven't been able to travel or go,
No, that's
far.
doing very well.
but when we went to Ensay, we had to wear masks and all that.
Yeah.
But, and they have had a few scares down there, but I think on the whole, we were pretty well off if we just wanted to stay here. But mental health was a big thing as well.
One of the biggest things to help with mental health is, besides your mates seeing that there's something going on, you know, they can just see it,
I understand.
is your local publican and hotel. Because no matter what, you've always got somebody there that'll either listen to you, talk to you, or even just serve you a cup of coffee. Yeah, they do that in pubs as well. A lemonade, a beer or a wine,
You don't even have to have that. You can just sit down here
and have
and
a
have
chat.
someone talk to you.
Yep.
Or sit outside.
And one of the best things is somebody, you know, suffering mental health. Righto, mate, pat on the back, here for you if you need me, we're ready to talk.
It's really important, isn't
And
it?
then just don't say a word because they know
Yeah.
you're not going to pressure them into talking
They can
because
just
it
relax
makes it worse.
and sort of take a deep breath
Yep.
and sit. And when they're ready, they'll talk. This is just an amazing community. And we're always here for anyone. Strangers who come in are always accepted. And
I know, it's the reception we got when we walked in the door and said g'day.
yeah.
It's been fantastic. It's
Yeah.
been nothing wrong.
Yeah. Well, I travelled around Victoria, Australia in my motorhome by myself after I retired. And up in Queensland, the hospitality in the pubs is just amazing. And this is just like that. You feel like you belong the minute you come in.
It's always the same when you go into a country pub.
Yeah.
You go
Just
into a city
amazing,
pub, the
Mm.
first thing they say is, what do you want?
Yeah.
It just One more thing to ask you,
Yes.
Jane.
Mm.
Probably the hardest thing you'll ever be asked in your life. What does community mean to you?
I was away for many years from Ensay, and I came back to live here just on 3 years ago now because of the community.
Wow.
It is my life. It is everything I need to survive and be happy and content, and I feel I can help others.
How long were you away
enjoy
for?
that. I left here when I was 18. Went away to, I went away to school when I was 12, boarding school, but I always came back for holidays because the family was here. I went away to the city nursing when I was 18, and I came back after many years away, 3 years ago.
That's a long caravan trip around Australia.
Oh no, there was other things in between the caravan trip, but I've always come back, even if it was just to see people or just to have a breather, to go around Devil's Backbone and look out and see Nunion. I knew I was home, and it was safe, and it was just a place where you could take a deep breath, no matter what else was going on in your life, and you knew it was right.
Community
Life
is
was
hard.
right, and that's community, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
It's always, community is where your heart is, and you know where your home is. No matter how far you
That's
go,
right.
you always
Yeah.
know.
Mm. It's so very special, and here we are. We're so very lucky to have that in abundance.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
And to have a lovely publican like the Mysterious Stretch.
Oh, and this place is the centre for all the entertainment. Like we had a footballers reunion a little while ago, which is a real hoot, and they all came in and filled the place up. Everything. It's at the pub, you know.
It's the central
We have
hub, isn't it?
a ladies' luncheon here once a month, and we have up to 17, maybe 20 older ladies from the area who often don't get out and about because of the isolation and maybe not driving so well.
Mhm.
They all come in here and have a lovely lunch and a chat, and it's good.
Wow.
It's just wonderful things happen here.
Well, that's good. And from what I've heard speaking to yourself and Scary, the community here is just A+.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. I'll let you go and have a.
I
Chilled
need one
wine.
after all that,
And I'm going to go and find an ice cold beer
of course.
because
And that's
I know they're
plentiful.
beautiful and ice cold beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much for the lovely
Thank you
chat,
so
Jane.
much.
You're
I
welcome.
really enjoyed this.
I'll let you
Thank
go
you.
and have your glass of wine.
I will.
G'day Australia, Tim here for Beef It Up Australia, Let's Get Rural and Australian Horizons Foundation. We're at the beautiful little place of Ensay at the Little River Hotel for a good night out. And I'm talking to Ray. G'day Ray, how are
How
you?
you going, Tim? How are you, mate?
Good mate. So what's all this on for tonight?
Yeah, we support the farmers, and really it's now the real part of the drought's over and the need of feed and everything's kind of over. This
Yeah.
is really mental health. Get them out here, get you blokes, make them laugh.
So I know you're out here, I've seen Hayfield Lions Club.
Yeah, yeah, Hayfield Lions Club. It's a progressive little club, and we're doing, believe in supporting the Gippsland area.
And all the little local communities in the area to go with it.
Yeah, and it's not only that, it supports the pub, it supports small towns.
Yep.
Same as what you do with your Beef It Up and everything. It's all about the community.
Yeah, no, that's what it is, because without the community, there's not really much around, is there?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So you've got to support the community to keep it all intact, because otherwise it just drifts away, and these little towns become ghost towns.
Yeah, we don't want that, because if it wasn't for the little towns, the farmers would have nowhere to go to catch up with their mates.
That's right.
People in the communities wouldn't be able to go anywhere to catch up with their mates. Pub wouldn't be open to support everybody.
Yeah,
And as you said, it's all for mental health and the well-being of the farmers and the people that live in the area.
that's right. It's you've got the farmers have got to connect with each other, and doing this sort of show, that's what it's about. It's about the farmers connecting.
Yep.
Because look, they drive down the road and they'll see the neighbour and wave. They don't actually stop and talk to them.
Yeah, that's one of the things, unless they actually get a chance to go and have a quiet beer.
Yeah,
Say, g'day, mate. How you going? They talk of business. They talk
Yeah.
about their crops and their cattle and their sheep
Yeah.
and things.
and
As
it's
well.
all in their head all the time.
Yeah.
So something like this
Takes the mind off the stress, doesn't it?
It is.
Gives them a good night out.
Yeah, just releases the stress a little bit.
And I notice there's a jumping castle being set up for.
I heard you were coming.
Yeah, but that's going to be for the adults, so the kids can stand there and watch and say, "Mum and Dad have fun."
And look, this is what it affects too. It affects the kids.
Yeah.
They see mum and dad stressed, especially in the bad times, the worst times. It just they get stressed too.
They do, and they're the future, aren't they?
They're the future, and then we haven't got enough young farmers as it is. And the ones that I've heard so many times, oh, I'm not going to take it to farm. Yeah, I've seen what mum and dad have been through.
The biggest problem is without the farmers,
What do we got to eat?
everything stops because the farmers supply everything, even the metal in your car, in
That's
your house.
It all
Might
comes
be
from a
the
fake
land.
farm of some description.
Yep, it does indeed.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep telling people that say, oh, farmers don't do nothing. Farmers supply everything you've got, whether it be mining in the ground for your metal and your gold and things, or growing a tree for your furniture and your meat and your wool. And
It kind of, I'm sure a lot of people think just go to Coles and Woolies and they can get what they want. We've got to get it into there.
Yep, but it's got to come from the land
That's
first.
right, it's got to come from the land
It
in
is
there
indeed.
first. Otherwise, we'll be importing all our stuff from overseas.
Still got to come from the farm, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it still comes from the farmer overseas, but their standards aren't what Australian standards are.
We want Australian grown.
We do. And it was it, just support Australia. This is basically all goes down to, you know, when you say supporting Gippsland farmers, it's really supporting Australian people all over.
It is indeed.
Yeah, we're just doing a little section here in Gippsland. But the main thing is it's just supporting Australia. And one good thing, what I reckon is a good thing in COVID, it's made people travel Australia.
That has indeed, when they've been allowed to get out.
Yeah, well, when old Dan lets them out. But that's a big thing. I think it's they're supporting Australian people, Australian towns, businesses. I know, especially up your way, how many little towns have folded?
Yeah, I've been trying to look into that, and I
Yeah.
think there's a couple that have, but it's only because the main gathering place for them,
Yeah,
the pub, is shut.
Yeah.
They've got nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
But I also heard something else for tonight as well. You're going to get up there and sing and tell some jokes, aren't you?
well, that would be dangerous.
Now, one last question is probably the most important thing you've ever been asked. You probably won't get asked again. What does community mean to you?
Well, community means everything to you. When you've got community, it's not just made up of a heap of strange people. It's made up of family. It's made up of cousins, uncles, dads and mothers. So that community-minded thing where you're all there for each other's back. Yep, that's what community means to me.
That's good. Cool. Ray, thanks,
Okay,
mate.
mate.
Join
See
in.
you later.